Oh, someone's on the hill.
Warzone Weekend might be over, but that doesn't mean we're done talking about it. In this new series called Where We're Dropping, we're going to examine the 3 most common strategies used by the pros in Warzone Weekend. We have the vehicle strategy.
I'm coming, Clay.
I don't believe it.
You got shit on Cammy, you.
The Slayer strategy.
Gotta be around our kill lead right now, I think, with his performance.
And the Camper strategy.
Literally just chilling it.
All right, well, they got a
FaZe
bounty
closet.
up.
I'll show you what worked.
Yeah, we always try Florida.
I'll show you what didn't work.
No! I ran out of ammo.
But most importantly, I'll show you how to get better at this game. My name is Miles Ross, and this is Where We Droppin. Okay, so we've already covered the camping strategy. Now we're going to look at the vehicle strategy here in Warzone. In Battle Royales now for quite some time, vehicles have been a very major proponent of them. You know, let's face it, Verdansk is a huge place. You're not going to run the whole thing. What are you? Some kind of hiker? Some kind of cross-country runner? No! You're a special forces or whatever you are these days, but you're going to be getting into a vehicle, and there are plenty of vehicles to work with here on Verdansk. You got yourselves choppers, you got yourselves trucks, quad bikes, and an SUV. All of these vehicles provide you very different advantages, and what we're going to be looking at specifically today is really how the helicopter can be best utilized by the Minnesota Rokkr in the Trios edition of Warzone Weekend.
All right, what is it looking like? Oh, this is a huge circle. We go anywhere.
Let's take a look. See here. Let's take a look.
Let's see where the most ones at.
Up, down. One of you can grab that most wanted. Other 2 of us can land top airport right here.
Now, as we saw in the very first episode of Where We Droppin, again, Paris Legion, they went with the camper strategy. So for them, it was all about getting recons, finding somewhere safe, and waiting for the sort of blow over. And that's not going to be the case for the Minnesota Rokkr. Now, Silly, Assault, and Asim, they're going to be looking for a place with a lot of, high bounties drops. They're going to be looking for vehicles. And the plan so far seems to be to go for airport. Again, think of airport, think of prison, somewhere like Boneyard. You want a vehicle, you want a lot of contracts to be grabbed, and that is exactly what they're going for now. Asim's going to be going for the most wanted. Silly breaks off to get himself a chopper, and again, essential. If you want to be very maneuverable, you want to be picking up as many of these contracts as you can. Silly's going to take some fire, but he's going to get out of dodge. Assault, though, he's in a bit of trouble right now. They do manage to land on top of someone. A couple of lovely shots gets the kill done, but as you can see, they're in a great position now. Helicopter support arrives. If they can win these fights, which they just about can, don't forget that the helicopter's also a weapon. Now you're set up for greatness right off the rip. Okay, cool. So you win your opening fights, you get yourselves that most wanted contract, everyone kind of has a weapon. What do you do next? Well, you've now got 3-something minutes to survive before you're going to reap the rewards of that most wanted contract.
You don't want to go on top of the airport? I feel like this is an absolute play. Nobody can get up there.
Yeah, good.
Now, this was a previous time in Verdansk. This was before Season 5. There was no way to get up to this rooftop. Now, you want to be thinking of rooftop management being the next part of this key strategy with vehicles. Helicopter offers infinite maneuverability, right? It's a flying car. That's really what it is. You can go anywhere you want. You just got to make sure that those places are safe. For these boys now, it's going to be running around. There's a minute something left on the clock. They're going to do what they can to pick up as much cash as possible. But as you can see, Silly is the guy staying with the vehicle. He's the guy being the pilot, making sure that wherever happens, you still have that way out of any tough situations. You still have the prized vehicle, again, as a weapon and as a mode of transport. And everything he's doing from here on out is focused around keeping that chopper in their hands.
If we should try and get another most wanted contract.
Yeah, I can go grab one. I'll go grab one right now.
The plan remains. For these boys now, they've managed to finish that first most wanted. They've got themselves cash. Now you can see they're able to get their loadouts. But Silly is already across map getting himself another one, keeping himself safe in that chopper. So loadouts come through. Silly's gearing up for the next one as they chain these most wanteds together, and you can see the cash flow from this team is huge right now. They are making it rain, and with that, now it's time for my favorite part of Where We Droppin, the loadout look-in. Now, if you saw the first episode, the Paris Legion Camper Edition, you know that they had some pretty fun loadouts. If you haven't seen that episode, click one of these buttons and get involved. You wouldn't just jump straight into 2 towers. You watch the Fellowship of the Ring first. You don't just go straight to season 3 of Breaking Bad, even though it's the best one. You watch 1 and 2 before that. Watch the first episode of Where We Droppin. Okay, so let's take a quick look at these loadouts. We're going to see Assault and Asim pick up their loadouts. Both of them pretty much running stock standard growls. Asim's going to be running the VLK site there. Still a very good choice. Now, their perks is where things get a little bit more fun. Asim's going for the Overkill. Now, this is a classic pickup when it comes to your first loadout. Grab the Overkill first. He's got himself amped, so he can swap between his 2 weapons very quickly. And the same can be said on the other side there for Assault. He isn't actually going to be running that Overkill class first, he's going for Ghost. Now, that's absolutely fine. He's running Battle Hardened to keep himself a little bit, in the fights a bit more. He's hoping to get a little bit more mixy. Now, for me, I don't think this is necessarily a good pickup in terms of like the overall strategy that this team's going for. They're playing the vehicle game hard. They're going across map trying to find these most wanted contracts and trying to stay out of fights as much as they possibly can. Now, let's look at their lethals and tacticals. Both of them are going to be running C4s. Now, you don't want to leave home without your C4s, boys and girls. Not only are they great against vehicles, they're great against people inside houses, and they're basically great against absolutely everything. There's nothing crazy about either of these loadouts. Pretty stock standard. They're playing for the dub, but we will get to see another loadout looking a little bit later on. On board now with Silly, we're going to be seeing Silly do this quite a lot. He goes off on his own to pick up these most wanted contracts, and again, it's a points-based system they're playing here, but in any other Warzone game, you can kind of do this as well. You just have to be brave and a little bit dumb. But keep an eye out for that recon drone. The recon drone is a lovely little find he has here. We'll see that drone come into play a little bit later. So he gets himself another most wanted.
Adam, as soon as I get out, hop in the helicopter, get ready to drive away so we don't fucking get caught.
I got you.
So one of the perks again of the vehicle strategies, you're nomadic. You don't have time to set routes down. You're going to be running around doing whatever you want. The map is your playground. So we see the boys get their loadouts, but the most important thing we're missing here is Silly.
I need to buy plates. I jumped out.
Needs to buy plates. Never leave home without your C4 and make sure you've always got plates. Seems arbitrary, but just make sure you've got them. So now the boys can just do whatever they want. Again, full rooftop control at this point in time. Don't have to worry about anyone slipping up behind them at this point in the Warzone's life cycle. But these guys now just have to set a look at the minimap, decide where they want to go next. They don't have a huge amount of money right now, but they are about to complete another Most Wanted. So again, when it comes to these Most Wanteds, the risk is there. Everyone knows where you are in the game. It's a living beacon that just shows you everything.
Another one coming from Superstore on the left, alone. Top Superstore as well. There's too many.
Rooftop control now becomes paramount. Identify the threats as they're coming. This is a bit of a camp. Let's be real, friends. They're stationary in a high ground position, playing recon, trying to find where the danger's coming from, but at all times, making sure they're keeping that most wanted player safe. And as you can see on the minimap, the helicopter's there, so if things get a little dicey, they can dip.
Well, can people get up on us?
Man? No, you cannot get up here. There's no way without a heli.
Yeah, you're safe then. They patched that. You're not safe anymore, my friend. Nowhere safe.
Most wanted right here. I'm gonna go cop right now, okay?
So Asim and Assault are left now to sort of guard this rooftop. Silly once again goes on one of his little runs alone. Now, we didn't touch on Silly's loadout too much before, but Silly's running the Cali sticks, again, brought to us recently in Warzone. They offer a slight increase to movement speed. So you can see Silly is playing this game fast. His job is to get in and out, grab the most wanted contract, and flee for his life. The Cali sticks gives him the most movement speed bonus outside of having Dead Silence activated. Grabs it, flies right back, picks up the boys on the way out, and now you can set themselves over towards another rooftop. Assault and Asim, all they've got to do, stay up top, don't expose themselves to any danger, and everything should be fine. So that's a pretty successful start here for the Røkkr. Now, in this game in particular, in this Warzone weekend for trios, there was a point system at play. It wasn't just about getting the dub. Every time you got a kill, you got a single point. Every time you completed a most wanted contract, you got 5 points as well. So these guys are playing a little differently to the way you would in a normal Warzone game. However, that shouldn't take away anything from what they've done here. They landed well, they landed as a team, they stole the helicopter, and they got themselves a really early advantage with that most wanted contract. So take what you can from this one, but bear in mind from here on out, they are going to be farming those most wanted contracts. I mean farming, like death wish farming. And if you've got a death wish, or you can handle the heat, go for it. So the circle's moving you out, you jump in your helicopter, fly to wherever you want. But if you're a good vehicle player, where you're going to go, you're going to find yourself another rooftop. Now these guys will do that in just a moment. You can see the helicopter's taking a lot of damage. So there you go. Got to get themselves to safety. Where do you go? The nearest rooftop. Now, you're in a new part of town. You've left the area that you've cleaned up. Now what do? You're a little dangerous, you're a little nervous, worried about where to find players. Silly pops the recon drone.
Car. Boom.
300 meters
car
out.
right there.
Don't forget, the drone's a vehicle too, right? Just because it's small doesn't make it any less impactful. This is what you do to find as much information as possible. Spots a car, spots some nearby information. There's another vehicle they can grab to get out of trouble, but he's made that building safe. You can see players on that recon drone through walls. Using the thermal scope there as well gives you an incredible amount of information all across the map. Look how far he can see with that drone right now. This is a huge play just to make sure that the surrounding area is safe. If there are players nearby, you can now take an informed fight against them, and if they're not, grab the vehicle, loot up, and get back out on the road.
Yo, Justin, drop me 500 and buy another loadout.
Okay, so we're our second loadout look-in here. This is part 2. You know, what you're going to be doing when it comes to these loadouts is your first is always going to be your overkill class. You want to get a primary and a secondary weapon, and everything else kind of comes with that. Typically, that's where your amped is run. You may see a change there on loadout number 2, but loadout number 2, the aim here is to get Ghost. You want to be invisible on UAVs and heartbeat sensors from the mid to the late game, especially when it comes to those final circles. Now, Assault, he's gone with another overkill class. So basically, he grabbed Ghost first. Now he has to go to overkill, so he loses the Ghost class. He's going to get a heartbeat sensor, which is going to help him keep an eye on that, you know, those pesky players trying to hit the flanks and whatnot as the circles get a bit tighter. But for his other teammates, for Asim and Assault, both of them have Ghost, both of them running amped. Keep an eye again, a hold of that C4, never leave home without it. And now, we are going to be seeing this one look a little bit more dicey there because Assault, without Ghost, he will appear on UAVs. Will this come back to bite them in the ass? Well, keep watching, we'll find out.
You want me to get this most wanted or no?
Is it here? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So eventually the vehicle fun may come to an end. You know, you get a flat tire, you run out of gas, people shoot you from the ground. Whatever happens, you may have to get out there and go for a run. Now, hitchhiking in Verdansk is not advised. No one's going to be picking you up or giving you the love here. So you have to make the run on foot. What do the guys do? They go straight for cover. They go straight for a house. They assess the local area. And what do? They go for the old Paris Legion strat. The little bit of camping. We've all done it. Stop judging us. It's just what you do. It's cold and dangerous outside. Anyway, the boys are going to now sit for a moment. As you can see, Salt, he literally stands up, has a quick drink, and you reassess the situation. So you have to look how much cash they've got and think about all those most wanteds. They put themselves in such a good position monetarily. Now you finish another one, and the cash just keeps rolling in. They can get themselves pretty much whatever they want. But again, looking at the minimap, opening up that TAC map, finding out where the nearby things are, just playing to your strengths. Knowledge is power. Whether it's high ground, whether it's what's nearby, that's essential. So you've been making the most of your most wanted contracts. You picked up tons of cash. What are you going to do? It's time to flex on the entire lobby. When you got that much money, grab yourselves as many UAVs as you can, pop 3 at once, and get yourselves an advanced UAV. These couple of poor suckers trying to come up on the back of the Minnesota Rokkr are in a world of hurt. They've got themselves loadouts, they have all the information in the world, and these players don't stand a chance. I don't care how good you are about to be flanked by the Røkkr. Sim's going to find the first, Assault cleans up the next one, and that is going to be a relatively easy set of kills. Again, that's the power of position, that's the power of money, that's the power of love. Okay, it's not actually the power of love, it's the power of an advanced UAV. But you get the point. This is what happens when you have all that money, you can put it to good use. So, with that, Røkkr now in a great spot to keep playing out the rest of this circle. You have all the information in the world. What are you going to do with it? So Assault spends all of his money to get himself another advanced UAV. However, if you're running Ghost, you will not appear on that advanced UAV. Silly knows this. He spotted some players coming in from that gas line with their perks. And as you can see, tags are in. High ground position is great. Gets the down, doesn't quite get the kill. Will he be able to stay alive in this situation though? Everything looks absolutely perfect for Røkkr right now until, pause, precision airstrike incoming. How do you get players off a high ground? You throw a big dangerous vehicle that spews aggressive hot lead to get him out of that power position. Get him into the mires, the murky mud with you where you can stab him and shoot him, whatever you want to do. It was all looking so good for Røkkr. In the blink of an eye, they start to drop out. Silly's had to go back into the gas to stay alive. Again, helpful to have armor plates, helpful to have gas masks because you had the cash to work with, self-revives, you name it. But that has been an absolute bloodbath. Well, there you have it. Minnesota Rokkr, they're dead. They do win the map overall. Again, thanks to the way we did Warzone Weekend, the points got them done. But you can still take away a lot of information from this one. So, it's time to drop some knowledge. What was the real saving grace of Røkkr here? Rooftop control. The way they use their vehicles and their contracts and pair them together to get an early advantage and to make as much money as possible. And then what did they do? They spend. Cash rules everything around Minnesota. It was also their demise, though. You saw the kill streak in the end. Again, I'm counting that one as a vehicle. We saw the recon drone helping them provide information to keep them safe. Think of those vehicles in whatever form they take. They're very, very useful. So that's how the Minnesota Rokkr use their vehicles to keep a very healthy economy, keep great map control, and basically keep themselves alive until the late game. Now, there's very, very different ways to use vehicles here in Warzone. Again, if you're MajorManiak, you can leave a little something in the glove box there and send it over to Røkkr. A great way to utilize not only C4, again, don't leave home without it, but also how to use the vehicle and your opponent's vehicle against them.
Dude, that was actually a beast-ass play. Did he C4 his car? Wait.
Yeah, that's some H1 shit, bro. Let's go.
But again, you can't talk about vehicles in Warzone without talking about the creme de la creme, the absolute king, the tippity top of the mountain, the biggest of all Berthas, Rambo Ray, who quite literally put an entire game into the back of his cargo truck and won it single-handedly.
Oh, someone's on the hill. Oh.
Well, there we have it. That concludes another episode of Where We Droppin. If you did miss the first one all about the camping strategy, go back and check it out. It's a lot of fun. But I do hope you walk away from this episode with some newfound knowledge, or at least a new idea of how to handle vehicles in Verdansk. Now, don't forget, friends, if you see hitchhikers out there, they sure as hell aren't safe. They're not your friends, and wherever they're going, you don't want anything to do with that one. It's way more Mad Max Fury Road than Sesame Street. That's all I'm saying. I've been Miles Ross, and this has been Where We Droppin.